Eccoci in una nuova versione da salotto di Radiofonica. Oggi siamo in compagnia di Stuart O'Connor, artista inglese, ora al momento è in tour anche a Perugia, nel suo tour 2013 per un nuovo album. Ha all'attivo 4 album, 1400 date tra Italia, Olanda, Nuova Zelanda, Australia addirittura, ed è tornato anche oggi a Perugia, dove si esibirà questa sera in un piccolo locale. Stuart, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
The first question is, you have released 4 albums. The latest, Go for Bright Scenic. You have released this album in 4 formats with 44 tracks. So 4 is a magic number for you, maybe. Would you explain to us what it means, this album, for you? What is all about this album?
I think after the 3 albums I had released prior to this, I felt like this album was like a final. It could be the final chapter for me in some ways, because I'm aware that to tour independently is a challenge to survive as a musician this way, but also it's a challenge because of the nature of the lifestyle of living on the road, and you don't necessarily have a lot of opportunity to focus on other things with your life. So when I began making the 4th album, I had a lot of songs, but I didn't really feel like there was one specific direction to them. So over time, I came to the conclusion that I could release them as 4 separate albums on different formats, and then that would allow me the opportunity to release something on vinyl, which is something I'd always wanted to do, as well as tape cassette, and then also to put something on a USB, and the idea of releasing something on a USB was quite appealing from the view of it encouraged me to investigate electronic music a lot more. So I was able to just experiment with ideas and not feel like at the end of this I necessarily need to ever release anything again. I felt like I could do these records, and then if I got hit by a bus tomorrow, then I could be happy with what I've released in my lifetime. And also by releasing these, it kind of, to me, it felt like the end of a chapter in my approach to songwriting, and I hope it will encourage me to try and find new ways of approaching music in the future. And actually, it's been very interesting for me in the sense that since I released it over 1 year ago, it was August last year, I haven't really written any new songs, and I feel like it's allowed me to step back and take some time with new material.
Yes, you release on tape, vinyl, and also in USB.
One CD and one USB.
And I know that you start with a progressive rock band in 2008. I don't know if I read it about.
It was
1998, yes, sorry. And this is an acoustic tour. What is the difference between, you prefer an acoustic version of your song?
They're just completely different from each other. The progressive rock band is very much 3 people working together to try and create music in whatever way. the acoustic thing is just came from touring and writing songs and being alone in that process. And as time has continued, I've been able to work actually with a lot of other musicians, but I think I've become very attached to the acoustic guitar, and I really like the options you have of percussively hitting it, or it's almost like two instruments in one. Sometimes it can feel like that. So I'm always gonna want to use an acoustic guitar when I'm performing alone.
I think that the acoustic version are more near to the people when you play. I don't know why, but I have this idea.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there's definitely a feeling of something. It's a lot more rootsy, or you feel there's a lot more, something more organic about an acoustic guitar, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. And Stuart, you play also in Japan in May. You have a special tie with the Japan culture. Last night we talked about Sachiko, an experimental woman who plays with an ethereal voice, who plays noise, and you also share music with a Chinese artist.
Not Chinese, no. But with Japan especially. There was a musician called Hako, and I don't know if the camera is able to get close on this, but when I first visited Japan, it was in 2009, and a big part of the reason was because I'd fallen in love with an album by a Japanese artist called Hako. Her album is called Riska, and I just became addicted to listening to it. I would almost listen to the entire album daily at one time. So I went to Japan just to investigate the country and the culture, but in 2010 I was lucky enough to meet Hako and invite her to perform on stage with me, and I was so happy with the results of that process that it was released to an LP.
Which kind of music plays Hako? Is like your musical?
She's now is very electronic based, but she's been recording and releasing music since the early 1980s, and over that time, actually, she's progressed through the ages herself very well. She was one of the first people to be using looping live and getting other musicians to play along to what she was recreating live. But in that time, she was using tape loops, which was a whole other challenge.
You also use the loop. I see a video clip looping under the tree of the song Owns. Where do you play that song in the video clip?
Actually, that song's played in my mum's back garden. She had gone away for a couple of days, and I was looking after the house, and a friend of mine happened to come around just to have a cup of tea. But when he saw the garden, he said, "This is a very beautiful location. We should film something here." So, literally maybe 2 days later, he came around with the film crew, and we set up everything outside, and just went for it. It was done in one take, and I'm really pleased that.
Very nice.
Grazie.
Stuart, you want to play a song for us?
Sì, I will play a song from
Okay.
the LP. This is called Time Lost Tradition. All cooped up in my little white cell, I'm feeling fine. Degradation all the time, separation leaves no hope. Want to go home now. Yeah, I sleep all day with nothing to say. I'm thinking round repetition till it's time lost tradition. long ago. You calm down. Soon they will discover it all. Soon they will know the truth. Soon you will have to return. Soon you'll see it too. There are no answers right or wrong, only same or insane ones we won't explain till it's all on page remain. Common somber to you, I deemed healthy. 'Cause it's an area of great to celebrate all our career at applying. With the system stigmatized and dismissed, but you know you should be free. But they haven't found me yet. But they always keep pace. But I don't feel a threat now. But I always leave a trace.
Stuart Connor on the sofa. Avete visto in versione acustica, chitarra e voce, ma dal vivo vi assicuro che ancora, cioè, con tutte le percussioni, usa anche un piccolo xilofono e vari strumenti, insomma, con il loop è ancora meglio, diciamo. Stuart, tonight you play in Perugia. Is the second time?
This will be my third tour of Italy, and I've played Perugia at least one time every tour. So this will be, I think, maybe my fifth or sixth time to perform in Perugia. See, but my first time for this venue. So, and if anybody wants to find out where else I will be performing, I hope to perform many other countries over the next few years. My website is stuartoconnor.com. It's stuartoconnor.com.
Perfetto, direi che ha fatto tutto da solo. Ok, un saluto da Radiofonica. Stuart, vuoi dire qualcosa? Parli italiano?
Che c'è? No, not really, other than very, very basic. My language skills, you know, it's I'm gonna blame it on being English. It's made me very lazy with languages. Everybody is far more fluent in my language than I am in anybody else's. But maybe I could kick my own ass a little bit more and try to.
There's no problem. My English is very bad. It's improving, but It's not so good.
speaking to me in English.
Okay, just say ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao da radiofonica.